Live from the J.C. Newman Cigar Studio and the Gurkha Cigar Studio in the great state of New Hampshire. Welcome to the Smokin Tobacco Show with your hosts, Matt Tobacco and Smokin Nicole.
And good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Smokin Tabacco Show. My name is Matt Tobacco from SmokinTabacco.com, and I'm joined once again by Smokin Nicole right here on my left.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going.
You got a lot of stuff over there on your desk.
I know. I feel like very overwhelmed right now.
None of it's mine.
Some of it's yours.
What's mine?
I don't know. Like this?
That's trash. Give me that.
Okay, well, you put your trash on my side of the desk.
That's not mine.
But other than my desk being overwhelming, the snow, I'm over it. Like up here in New England, we had how many? I mean, with the drifting, I think over 2 feet.
It's crazy. You know, you would think that it was like I barely had to clean the driveway, which was weird. But we got a lot of snow. It's just our driveway, it just drifted out. There was like one patch.
But I feel like in the backyard, then we had like a 3
Yeah.
foot drift.
Yeah.
The other day, I
Yeah.
feel like it just won't stop snowing. Today we had another 2 inches.
I'm getting sick of it.
And then I think there's supposed to be another storm Sunday into Monday. So like I don't know what's happening up here in New England, but this is the most snow I feel like we've gotten in a while. And I want to say our mound is like over 5 feet.
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Maybe not 5 feet, but like 4 feet.
Well, there was a little bit of melting in
realistic
between,
amount.
but I mean, it's
Yeah.
up there. I mean, it's pretty bad. I'm sick of it.
We're taking applications if you want to adopt us and you live in a warm state. Please, please.
We
take us.
we almost moved to a warmer state. I still so wish we did. But anyway, so we sorry, this cord is just driving me nuts today. I hate this cord. It's all over the
You
place.
okay over there?
Yeah, it's just it keeps getting caught on something, and I'm getting yanked to the side. But we do have a guest with us tonight. He's hiding in the background, but he'll be on here in just a second. From a newer brand that some of you may or may not have heard of, but you definitely will after tonight. It's called Lure Cigars, and our friend Lou is on here, and he is going to join us. I'm going to bring him on. His name is Lou Cross. Lou, welcome to the Smokin Tabacco Show.
I appreciate the opportunity to come hang out with you all. Good evening.
Absolutely. It's great to have you here. First time on the show, you know.
We love new guests.
We do. We get
Fresh blood.
we get to torture them.
I know.
Sure.
Like Cigar Coop. I'm going to make you sit here for 4 hours.
Oh, well, I didn't pack a snack. Pack a lunch. So to be able to stay stamina. But
He listens to all the episodes like the next day, and then then I'll be like, I'll be working or whatever, and then I get like the random text message at like 11:30. By the way, I listened to the show and I heard the comments you made, and I'm like, and I know you listen to the show.
I've been a fortunate and the blessing to be on his show, and the 3 hours, it goes by pretty quick. He's got a good format. So,
it does.
You can be on there, so it's always good. And I mean, our motto with our company is smoke great cigars and tell tall tales. It's all about getting together, and when you can sit there over a cigar and have a good conversation, it's always good. So
that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. I don't disagree with you there. Although I wish I had more conversations over cigars. I know how that might sound crazy, but more often than not, I end up smoking alone. So,
Or he gets bored of me. One or the other.
No, not necessarily that. It's just, it's just so many cigars, so little time. But welcome to the show. It's great to have you on here. I've been following you since just about the beginning when you sent out your first press release. And you've come quite a way. We are going to get to that in just a second, though. Before we do, we got to talk about a couple of the people that helped make this show happen. First, our friends at Nova Cigars. Want to shout out to them. Make Nova big. Ask your local retailer for Nova Cigars today. And I forgot to put the never mind. The other friends of ours we have is our friends at 2guyscigars.com. That's right, the number 2guyscigars.com. Head over there today for an amazing selection of cigars and accessories from brands you know and love, maybe a few that you haven't quite discovered yet. Do yourself a favor, place an order today at the number 2guyscigars.com. I don't think these are available at the number 2 guyscigars.com. At least maybe not yet. Hopefully in the future.
Not yet.
But you are our guest. You are the owner of this brand. I'm going to let you go first, and then you can kind of talk a little bit about each cigar that we're smoking.
Sure. Well, I appreciate the opportunity to come out and speak with your guests. I get a chance to go out and be on podcasts and things, and this is one of the ways that people find out about the brand. Lure Cigars is something that is a tribute to my father, my late father. And I got the brand started after his 90th birthday. I wanted to have a cigar made, and I went to my buddy Nimmer Ahmad from Valakari, who was also out of Tallahassee. And when I went to Nimmer, I said, "Can we roll a cigar for my dad's 90th?" And that was back in 2023. And he said, "Sure." The cigars were late. We ended up smoking other things for the party. And when the cigars finally arrived, my dad's health declined a couple weeks later, and he ended up passing away. So the cigars had showed up. And when I got the cigars that were made for his birthday, I gave them away at his wake and at his funeral. And at the eulogy, I invited people to try the cigars. And if they were a cigar smoker, to take one. If they weren't and they knew somebody else, well, all of the cigars that were made were in the back of the church in a box. I didn't expect, many people to take them. They were all gone by the time that I went up back to the box. Over the next couple of weeks, I heard from people that had connected with loved ones that they hadn't talked to in a while. They had taken it to their friends. They had reminisced. They had stories. And it gave me an idea of saying, look, maybe there's something here. And so taking that forward, I started with the Corojo Oscuro and launched that in the fall of 2023, a soft launch. And then officially January 1st of 2024, Lure Cigars became official. And we, got all the IP and everything registered and everything else. And since then, we've had 3 other core lines come out, which we can talk about, and some LEs and some other fun projects. And that's just kind of what got us started. And Tackle and Tobacco is a passion of fishing and cigars, which were the 2 activities that my dad and I did together. So, bingo, it was just an idea to bring the 2 things back together again.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. What a way to be remembered. I mean, there's a lot of family dynamics and stuff, obviously, in this business, as I'm sure you're very well aware. And it's always interesting to hear all those stories. Yours is a little bit different than the usual, though. But that's still a great story. And I'm sorry for your loss. And it's too bad that your dad's still not here with us. But it's great that you can remember him in such a great way.
Thank you. Well, he had 90 years, and I had 30 years of smoking with him. So, I had the very great blessing of time with my dad. It was an activity that was something that I watched him do when I was a kid. Every now and then he would have a cigar when we were fishing. And when I got to be 18 and came home with a box of cigars for the first time, because back then 18 years old was the threshold for being able to buy, cigars. And so he said, "Give me one of those." And we sat and we shot the breeze, on the boat dock after we were fishing. And just ever since then, that was something that we enjoyed for 30 years together. So it was an activity that every time I light up a cigar, there's a moment there, kind of where you have that memory and reference. And then as you share cigars with other people, you're hopefully making those memories and making those connections as well. So that's what it's all about. And it's just been a great, fun thing to do. So from a cigar enthusiast for 3 decades to now being a manufacturer and getting out there on the other side of it, it's been a real exciting journey thus far.
Absolutely. Well, are you smoking a cigar with us tonight? Yeah, you are. Which one do you have there?
Absolutely. So I'm smoking the Jolly Walleye. This is the Jolly Walleye. This is an LE Habano that was coming out, and I did not have these when I sent your cigars out. So I will send you and Nicole a copy of the Jolly Walleye that will come out. This is this year's LE in the Habano 2000. What was last year? This year it's an Ecuadorian Claro Premium. So it's got a different wrapper on this year's version. And I am smoking for quality control purposes, the Jolly Walleye. And but I'll make sure you guys get them. They just came in this week, and they'll be dropping in March 7th. So March 7th they'll officially release.
Nice. I am smoking the Mean Gene, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Which this is pretty good, actually. It's got a nice draw to it. I like the box press, nice flavor. This is a pretty good cigar. I like this a lot.
Thanks.
Really, really nice. Nicole, what do you have?
I believe I have. Is this the Lil Trout?
Is it the Robusto or is it the Toro?
It's the Robusto.
That's the little trout.
Yeah.
Yes, that's an amped up version of the brownie trout that we had released.
Yes.
Nice.
In the
Nice.
box press.
I
It's
heard
good.
through the grapevine that your cigars were generally on the stronger side too, but I don't know if that's true.
So it's funny you say that because when Aaron and Ben and Coop and they all reviewed the last year's Jolly Walleye, I smoke stronger cigars. I smoke quite a bit, and I tend to like a cigar that's got a little more strength to it, just because I want to have an experience, and I shy away from lighter bodied stuff just because I'm smoking so much that I don't tend to slow down enough, and I probably should. I appreciate a great Connecticut. I appreciate a milder cigar, but I've got to be in the right mindset, the right mood. For most often, I'm just grabbing a cigar. I want to feel it. I want to punch it, and let's go. So when they smoked the Jolly Walleye, they were all like, "This cigar is super powerful," and I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "This is a medium plus. It's not, this is full bodied. Oh my gosh, this cigar is strong." So I guess it's all relative, but I try to make it and give people direction on all the labeling for the cigars, that we do try to be as upfront with what we consider to be the strength and also the flavor profile. But we don't. You gotta. It's a subjective thing too, right? So I will say that this year's Jolly Walleye, when you try to smoke it, it's on the more medium to mild to medium side of things. It's a much more elegant smoke, and we wanted to push that in there because a lot of my cigars are classified as medium plus to full.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, I prefer medium to full myself. I mean, I do. I'm the same way. I appreciate a good mild cigar when I'm in the right. I gotta crave it. You know what I mean? Like I smoke more of them than I would say like a flavor and infused cigar. I'm not against those. Those are a couple times a year
Sure.
for me. Obviously, I
Sure.
smoke regular Connecticut's and mild cigars a lot more often than that. But still, I'll come home and be like, I'm really craving like a really mild, creamy Connecticut.
Yeah.
That's when I'll have one. Other than that, it's medium up
Yep. It's,
most
it's
of the
all
time.
it's all experiential, and it's what you're in the mood for. Sometimes you want white wine, sometimes you want a light, sometimes you want whiskey, sometimes you want something that's a softer red. Sometimes you want a cola, sometimes you want a root beer, whatever. Depending on what your mood is, and sometimes it's just like I just want to have a cigar that is going to. Basically, if you smoke the cigar before, you want the cigar to be consistent. And that's one
Yeah.
of the mainstays of our brand, is that I wanted to make sure that when we smoke my cigars time after time, that whatever you're picking up, there's enough variation, there's enough variability between the different lines, and that it's consistent, so that when you go grab it out of whatever humidor you're smoking out of, it's always going to be consistent. And that's a goal for us to maintain.
Yeah, I mean, the consistency is key. We talk about it time and time again. Um, Going through reviews, is when you notice it. When you're smoking those cigars for the review, and you have to kind of log it.
Yeah,
And you gotta like go through each of the samples. You're trying to see like, okay, well, like the first one was really good, and now there's this one, and then there's the next one.
sure.
How well did they play off each other? That's when you pick up on those things, and I agree. When it's not consistent, I hate inconsistencies on anything, right? I'm a very routine based individual, so when
Hmm.
something breaks my routine or interrupts my, especially like in my leisure time, like
Sure.
my leisure time is all planned out nowadays, with the
Yes.
smaller time.
Yes.
So when something breaks
Yep.
my leisure time and just not the right way, it's uncomfortable. I don't like that. It's the same
Absolutely.
when you smoke a cigar. So um, that consistency with your cigars is, I think, the heart. And we've had so many brand owners and blenders and tobacco people on the show over the years. That's the biggest thing, is consistency. They can make a
Yep.
blend, they can sell the cigars, and it's not easy to do, but more often than not, they always say the hardest thing is keeping it consistent
Yeah.
time after time after time, so that they always taste the way you remember them.
Yep. Well, as a consumer first, I go back to other brands. I mean, I smoke a lot of other brand cigars. I love the reference point. I love to see what other people are doing. I have a lot of respect for people who have blazed trails and tried new things, and to come up with concepts that are, this is a cigar that I really enjoy. I'm not trying to copy, but at the same time, I respect what's out there. And I know that those cigars are supposed to taste a certain way. I know they burn in performance a certain way. So when I go grab one of those, it helps me to kind of gauge and see what it is. Then I go back to my cigar, which I know and I expect it to perform and taste a certain way. It helps me to make sure my palate is staying, on the same plane. And that is one of the things that, if you're not smoking other cigars out there, how do you know what's what? I mean, I don't want to get palate blind to only smoking my
You
stuff.
need a
So
barometer, of
yes,
what's
yeah,
out
you
there.
got to reset it. Absolutely, absolutely.
That's like some of these big manufacturers, and I know just about all of them, in pretty well enough to ask them these questions point blank and give them the look of like, I don't believe you. When I'm like, do
Right.
you smoke other people's things? They're like, no, I smoke my stuff, and I'm like,
Well, out of respect, I mean, come on. Also,
come
I
on,
mean,
you have to
I'm
know.
new at the manufacturing game, and I have quite a cigar collection, having built it over many decades, and I have a lot of other cigars in there that are really, really good. And you can't make all home runs, and at the same time, there's some real special gems from other time periods and cigars age. Why would you not want to smoke some of the other stuff that's out there? And plus to see if somebody else is coming onto the market with a new cigar that's got a different tobacco. I love trying something new and seeing if I can pick out those flavor notes or that, combustibility difference and those kinds of things. I mean, that's the cigar nerd in me that wants to see that happen
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, 100%. I'm with you. I'm with you too. There's too many choices nowadays, is what I always say. Um, The our really quick, I want to mention our friends from SC Dupont. That's right, we shake up the legacy with SC Dupont, featuring our 2025 accessory of the year, the new Defi Windproof. There it is, available now. Ask your local retailer if they shake up the legacy today with SC Dupont. Brent Hagen smoking a Lure Escuro, is that what he said? The thing's in the
Yep.
way. There it is.
Yep.
Which I think, which one is that? I have a
That's
few
the
of them here.
orange one. So
Ah,
the
okay.
orange is the Oscuro. That was the third core line to come out. We used an orange band because the flavor note that kind of took off, besides the typical leather and coffee notes that are in that cigar has a kind of an orange peel citrus note to it, like a chocolate covered orange peel that you'd have at the holiday. We launched that cigar just before PCA last year, and we had gone from the Corojo, which is that dried fruit kind of sweetness of the Corojo, the aged Corojo that is dark Corojo. That's a very nuanced cigar. That's the blend that we launched with. Then we came out with the Habano line that February, and then a year later we came out with the Oscuro. I wanted a bolder kind of Maduro smoke, but then the Oscuro was a blend that was presented to us as an option. And when I got it from the factory, I was like, I love this cigar, and I couldn't stop smoking it. And the reason why I called it the Big Joe and the Little Joe is because that cigar I pair with coffee. And so in the morning I have that cigar with coffee, or in the evening if I have it after a meal with coffee. It just has an amazing pairing, and it also will pair well with a high proof spirit as well. So the Oscuro is kind of a darker, we double Maduro, and the binder and filler in that is got dark notes to it, and that's what was the third one that we had. So appreciate you smoking the Oscuro tonight. I hope you're enjoying it.
I liked what you said about the chocolate covered orange peel.
Mm-hmm.
That was nice. That was right out of right out of a review. That's one of those like quirky.
Yep. Yep.
I like that a
all
lot.
the flavor notes, So I will tell you that the brownie trout has its name, and when we did it as a catch and release, which is a small kind of micro drop program we do. Catch and release is something that we do a couple times a year. We'll do it in a particular size, or we'll do it in this particular blended tobacco that we've never used before. We call it catch and release, just like in fishing, where we put it out in 5-packs, brown paper, craft paper packaging, and then we have a band on it that looks like a catch and release sign from like the National Park Service. That cigar came out as a fall release of a box press 6x54 San Andreas over Nicka binder and filler. And so that cigar came out. People loved it. When we went to do it in full production as the Maduro line that came up this last October, to make it, we decided to go with a Nicaraguan Habano Maduro. And so it's a little bit different in terms of the wrapper leaf, but it gave it a little bit more flavor, it gave it a little bit more balance, and it also, for just for monetarily sake, it was a better financial decision for us to be able to put it in a core and sustainability. So the San Andreas wrapper that we had used on the previous one was a little more expensive, a little bit harder to get right now in terms of source, and we didn't want to launch a core line without having that sustainability. So the Brownie Trout came back out on the Toro, and then the Maduro box pressed Robusto is the little trout that Nicole's smoking. How is it treating you?
So first impression, I feel like the flavor notes are really on point. So I'm actually reading your description. I do love this that you included for us with all of your descriptions on the flavor profile. This one says that the little trout is slightly bolder with a richer smoke with hints of chili pepper flake and a little more loco in the cocoa is what it says.
That's right.
That's right. But it's funny. We had this lovely like advent calendar over Christmas time that
Oh yeah, that thing.
his mother had given us, and there was one like dark chocolate that was like very high in in cocoa. I think it was like an 80%.
Sure.
Like a very rich dark chocolate, and it had chili in it. And this
It was a
like
very
hitting
exotic
it.
assortment.
Yeah.
It was out there.
Nice.
This is
Nice.
definitely earthy, browny. It has all of those with a bit like a subtle pepper flavor, and I hate the taste of white pepper. It's not a white pepper flavor. It's just like a very mild peppery, and I do like that. I don't know. I like it.
Wonderful.
If you don't like
Smoking
white pepper,
great.
don't smoke that the new Speed Shop.
I know white peppers. I can't.
That is.
We all have favorites. I can't.
That is a
Sure,
peppery cigar.
sure.
I drank like half a gallon of water doing that review. That was.
Oh my
wow.
goodness.
Yeah.
That was.
No, this is like the perfect balance. So I am very much enjoying this right now.
Well, I got to give credit where credit's due. We have been very fortunate. We started out at one factory, and that was the factory that Nimmer had a longstanding relationship with. And we've recently transitioned after the PCA show last year to our new factory. And the blender Brejo has been an absolute dynamo when it comes to coming up with blends and refining our blends. And as we've come out with the new sizes and the new shapes and everything in terms of the new cigars that are coming out, they're just being well received. And I am not a blender, right? So I'm a cigar smoker first. And the talent really resides at the factory. And you have to respect the people that have been around tobacco. And they know, I mean, they take advice and they take all the different input that we can give them as the person that's going to be receiving and smoking the cigar and ultimately paying for it. But they are very good at being able to decipher and take that kind of that hint of an idea and turning it into magic. And we have been very fortunate to have access to the catalog of AJ Tobacco and then the new factory in the original San Latano location. And it is something where there's a lot of excitement there. We're very excited about the cigars coming out of it. And when you basically say, I'm looking for something that's got a little more spice, or I'm looking for something that's got cocoa notes, or I'm looking for something that's got more leather notes, or something on the softer, I want something more elegant. So like I said, the Jolly Walleye, they took last year's cigar, which was stronger, and it was very good. It was a very similar blend sheet to what was in the Mean Gene. It was a little bit amped up a little bit in a different way. There was a little more jalapa, which brought out some sweetness. This year, it's much more elegant, and I'm excited for you guys to try that too coming out. So that's a new kind of cigar coming out of the factory with the original heritage of the brand, but yet something new and exciting. And they're just hitting those triples and home runs that we've been very blessed with.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, just off the first cigar alone, I'm so eager to go through the rest now, and then hearing more and more about everything else. I'm excited. I'm excited for these. This is so you're on a roll here. You're off to a good start, Lou. Just keep it up.
Thank you. Well, I mean, like I said, I've got a lot of support, and I have a lot of friends in the industry. I spend a lot of my, not necessarily free time, but a lot of my leisure time connecting with people. I'm a very social person, and I like the feedback, and I like to share cigars. And I've been very fortunate that the cigars I like to smoke are those that other people seem to like to smoke. And so, I put my family's name on this. The cigars are named after my family members. When I first did the cigars in the Corojo line, I had the Big Lou named after my dad. And then I had the Little Tony. My son's 6'5", but when he was little, he was Little Tony. So it was the Little Tony, it was the Robusto. And then that has become the Fat Tony because we do a Robusto Grande. He's gained a little bit of weight, so he's a little bit bigger. And so the Fat Tony. And then we had the BLT, which was the Big Lou Torpedo. My dad loved a BLT sandwich, and it was a torpedo in the Big Lou format. We've since, discontinued that size, but then we have the Lunker, which is a 6x60 Gordo, like when you're fishing, it's the big fish. And that cigar is not even as big as the ones that are out there nowadays, right? You got 7x70s and 9x90s and all these crazy cigars that are out there. But
13 by 134.
I mean, come on. I mean,
no names mentioned.
yes, exactly. I mean, if you've got to hold it with two hands like a bazooka, that's something else. But then my daughters came after me and they said, "Look, when are we going to get a cigar named after us?" And I didn't even know they were paying attention. So the Tally Alley is named after my daughter Allison. That's the Toro and the Habano. And then the Holy Coley is named after my daughter Nicole. And that cigar is a Habano 5x50 Robusto. So those came out, and then so my three kids had it. When I was sitting on the porch asking for a stronger Habano, which is what you're smoking, Matt, I wanted something, and I was hoping that they would, like, me not knowing how to construct a cigar and not knowing what's in it. I basically am trying to tell the chef how to make the meal. And I said, I want a stronger Habano. I want you to add Ligero. I want you to add some stronger cigar, tobacco. And he goes, no. He said, no, Hermano. He said, not, we're not adding anything. And I'm like, come on, I'm like, I'm thinking he's putting me down, like, like I don't want to make a stronger cigar. And what they ended up doing was, I learned, even after decades of smoking, that they took the cigar, which was the Tally Alley, which is our most mild cigar in our portfolio, still medium, but the Tally Alley, I wanted a stronger smoke. And so what he did was he took out some of the filler tobaccos, left all of the Ligero in the binder, the Amatepe tobacco that one of our signature tobaccos we work with, and changed the wrapper to Habano 2000, and they box pressed it. So the combustibility was there even with the added Ligero ratio. It was box pressed, so you had the airflow. And then the flavor dynamic changed a little bit more when it went to the Habano 2000 wrapper. So when I'm smoking that cigar on the porch and I'm sitting there and I'm like smoking it, my wife was sitting across the porch from me. And when I was sitting there, I was talking to Nimmer and I was talking to the factory. I said, this cigar is awesome. And she said, well, if this cigar is awesome, I want it named after me. And I'm like, oh, really? I said, well, this is pretty mean. And her name's Jeannie. So I said, I'm going to call this the Mean Gene. So the Mean Gene was born, and that cigar is one of my favorites in the Habano line because it's amped up. I hope you're enjoying it.
Oh, yeah, I am.
And it's named after her. And so, if you like a Padron or if you like something that's got a little bit more oomph to it, that's a Habano that can compete at that level and give you something that's got a lot of flavor. It's got great combustibility. It'll give you a good amount of smoke when you're smoking it. So that's one of the ways we had another name there. And as we've gone forward, friends and family have been, named after the different cigars in the lineup that we have.
That's pretty cool. So you get the whole group there through all the whole portfolio. Now the question is, as you continue to come out with more and more cigars, now where does this branch off now? Do you start, how many other names are you going to use?
Sure. Well, so we just had we just dropped a catch and release last month, which was called the Slim Jim, and that was a Connecticut broadleaf that we did after following up from our LE Connecticut broadleaf. I have a brother named Jim. My wife has a brother named Jim. We both have grandfathers named Jim. So Jim's one of the family names. We've also, just utilized the whole fishing motif. So the whole idea behind the rhyming names is that alliteration is vintage lures were named catchy things to be able to catch fishermen, right? Lures are mostly named to catch fish. No, they're mostly named to catch fishermen, right? Most lures are used to catch fishermen, not fish. And so I wanted to have some of that similar kind of motif in the branding to be lure cigars, to say we're going to have these names, so the Tally Alley and the Holy Coley, et cetera, et cetera. We've had to branch out, and we've done some things that are just fishing names, like the brownie trout. When I smoked that cigar for the first time, it tasted like brownies, and brown trout is a species of trout, so the brownie trout was kind of a play on that. And the Jolly Walleye. The walleye is a fish that my dad loved to catch in the Midwest when he was from Wisconsin area. And so the Milwaukee, and he would go up to the different lakes and catch walleye. So that he always talked about how great the walleye was, but I never got a chance to ever catch a walleye as a kid. I finally, as an adult, went up to the Midwest and I went to a restaurant and we had fried walleye and a fish fry on a Friday night. And holy moly, that is a fantastic eating fish. And there's a reason why that fish is so heralded as a great eating fish. So, we try to use fishing names. We just had a collaboration with Nimmer and Valakari. We did called the Nereus. It's a seahorse or a hippocampus. He's got very traditional marketing in terms of like castles and knights and that kind of stuff. In terms of Valakari, it's medieval, but it's also Middle Eastern kind of thematic Mediterranean themes. I took the lure. We did the seahorse. So you've got the hippocampus, which is the front of a horse and the back of a fish. It's the year of the horse we just released. That's kind of a fun little thing. So anywhere I can take that fishing motif and carry it forward, and I try to use the vintage colors in packaging and of the branding and stuff as well.
Now, let me ask you this question. So, obviously, you've been fishing a long time. You're a big fishing guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's many different kinds of fishing. What would you say is the type of fishing you do the most?
Well, I was very lucky enough to grow up in a house. When I was in fifth grade, my dad finally got his dream to have a house on a lake. And so, all the years that we lived close to water, we would always walk or drive to lakes and fish. But I grew up, from fifth grade on until I moved out and got married. I lived on a house with a pond behind it. So I could catch bass, bluegill, crappie, shellcracker. I could catch a bunch of freshwater fish right in my backyard. So we would do that on a whim, on a will. But my favorite type of fishing is fly fishing. I like freshwater fish. I like the cool water streams. I like to be able to go out there. I like the whole aesthetic of the stream. I like the challenge of catching trout. They are very smart fish when it comes to fishing. They're not as much reactive like a bass would be. You can throw something, you could throw anything and make a bass angry. It'll bite at it. With a trout, it'll come up and look right at your fly, and then it'll turn around and say, "No, I'm not eating that." So I love the art of fly fishing. I love to tie my own flies when I have time. I haven't done it in a couple of years since doing the cigar business, but for a long time, that was one of the hobbies that I would sit there and find, therapy, smoke a cigar and tie a fly. And then, of course, we're about 30 minutes away from the coast. I do some inshore fishing, but I get a little seasick. So deep sea fishing for me, the expense and also going out and doing that on a deep sea idea, I'd rather just go to the fishmonger and buy my salmon or buy my snapper or buy my grouper. It's a lot easier to figure that out, do it that way. But I love all fishing. I mean, I just think that the activity of fishing is one of those leisure activities that causes you to slow down, causes you to be reflective. It's very cigar friendly. And just like cigars, that you can smoke a $2 cigar and have a great experience, you can go out with very limited tackle, doesn't require a big investment, or you can spend $1 million and go catch billfish off the coast of the Yucatan. So there's a lot of different variation there. It brings people together. People that like to fish and people that smoke cigars, you can be of any different means and you can enjoy it.
I have not fished in a long time, but I own a very cheap pink ugly stick, and
Hey,
I used to
all right.
and I used to fish a lot, and I have not fished in a long time, unfortunately, but I should go dig it out of my garage.
Absolutely. Well, maybe when it warms
Do you
up
still
a little
have
bit.
that?
I do still have my pink ugly stick, yeah.
That's awesome. Well, there's one type of fishing that I have not done in terms of being above water. I've never done any spear fishing either. But as far as fishing with a pole, I've never done ice fishing before. And so I can't say that activity, but I do have some people that are out there smoking lure, and they do drill a hole in the ice and they go sit in their tent and they take great photography of smoking lure cigars while they're ice fishing. And they swear that when they're smoking a lure, they end up catching more of their limits. So, more power to them out there.
Never done the ice fishing, really?
Never done the ice fishing. Nope, never had the opportunity, nor have I had the will to go to some place that it's so cold and frozen that you can stand on a lake. So,
Yeah, that's true
thanks.
too.
You could probably do it up here right now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, I think they do it up here. I think it's very popular in the upper Midwest, like Minnesota, Wisconsin,
Yeah.
out on the lakes. I think that they definitely do it out there.
Sure.
Up in Canada, hey.
Yeah, hey, absolutely. Yep. My dad got a chance to go with my older brother up to Red Lake, and it was a fly-in fishing experience up in Canada. And it's so funny because he brought cigars and he brought some of his hand-tied flies, and the only thing they were catching fish on that week were my dad's goofy flies, and they all got around a chance to smoke cigars, which was great. So Canada's. I've not been fishing in Canada, but I've heard it's great fishing up there, for sure.
We used to have. He's still kind of part of the team, but he's not on the show anymore. Is our good friend Mitchell, who's
Okay.
who's up in British Columbia. You know,
Oh.
he's our Canadian. So anytime we
Canuck.
every time we can bring up Canada, you know, he's also like he's not quite a sports person. I texted him about, you know, the Olympic gold medal games the other day with the hockey, and I sent my condolences. He's like, I mean, I'm not really big into the sports, but like, glad you guys won. He's like, you know, typical Canada. He's like, I feel like, you know, we're second place on everything. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
Canada's had a rough
I
year.
thought it was. They had a rough year. I thought for sure though, if you're Canadian, you have to like hockey, or you got to renounce your citizenship or something. It's pretty that dramatic.
It's like
So
the rights that you get when you're born up there. They're like, here's your maple
exactly.
syrup, you know,
Yes.
complimentary, get you going.
Yeah.
Here's a toque, you know, that's what they call a hat.
Sure.
I remember, so there was a girl way back in the beginning, good friend of mine. She was a whiskey,
Oh yeah.
like a whiskey blogger, and her name was Curious Jen, and she's from
Oh.
Canada, and
Yeah.
she it was in the early days when I was making a bunch of hats and stuff like that with the brand on it, and I had a bunch of samples made, and I had this one hat that was made. It was red and white, and I ended up giving it to her. I was like, Jen, I'm gonna send you this as a gift, as a thank you, and she loved it because it was, you know, Canadian colors or whatever, and she was like, oh, thank you for
Absolutely.
and she was like, oh, thank you for the toque, you know, I love it, and I'm like, what? And I was so confused, and then I remember talking to Mitchell. He was like, "That's what we call a hat," and I was like, "Oh." He's like, "Yeah, it's a Canadian thing."
I learned something new today. I did not know that. That's great trivia.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know how it's spelled? I'm gonna have to look it up afterwards.
I want to say it's probably like TOUQE, QUE,
Oh yeah,
something like
okay.
that,
French
like toque.
Canadian.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
Got it.
So anytime there's anything Canadian, I go, Mitchell. He's my resident Canadian.
That's great.
Yeah, he's super polite too. And there's only been a few times when I've seen him get angry, and that's how you know that something's like really messed up, when he gets upset. You know what I mean? Because to get him going like really takes a lot. You know, I could have something like really bad happen. He'll be like, yeah, you know, that sucks, you know? And I'm like, yeah, it does, Mitchell. Like, and then there was one time, like last year, he was like, you know, that's pretty aggravating. And I'm like, Jesus, man, like, what the hell is wrong with him? And I'm like, wow, it must be that bad.
Yeah. Well, I think you have to have a certain temperance if you know that 9 to 10 months out of the year is frozen. I mean, you know how it is. You just commented on how miserable the snow is right now, but I mean, they are hardy people. I can tell you that's for sure. So, okay.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, they are.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it is time for... I tried to do a drum roll there with my lips, but they were too dry and they stuck together. That was a swing and a mess. There we go. It is Saka's Grape of the Week, brought to you by Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Saka, once again, surprisingly...
I know. I feel like okay,
Steve, what's going on,
I
man?
know. When we started this segment, Steve was just like on a roll, like yelling and
He's always
complaining
had
about things on Facebook.
Yeah, he always had something to, you know...
to gripe about, and he'd
Steve-
write paragraphs and paragraphs of something or other. And I feel like he's been kind of nice lately. Not a lot of drama.
Let's not get too carried away.
Okay, maybe not nice, but just him, you know. Just himself, patting himself on the back. Nothing too crazy going on.
I think my
Showing
gripe...
off his watch.
Honestly, I think my gripe of the week this week is the fact that Steve doesn't have any gripes for me to use. Because, like, it's more fun when I take one of his. Because it's usually, you know, it's something. You know what I mean? I mean, Lou, you follow Steve. You know how it goes.
Sure.
It's
Absolutely.
a Stephen King chapter, you know?
Yeah.
Of like,
Wait
oh,
for the
man...
post. Yeah.
I was down in Nika today working on a new Liga, and, you know, I realized I don't have the right tobacco. Why am I even making these cigars in the first place? I mean, and then it just goes on and on and on and on and on. Anyway, that's just my gripe of the week, you know. I'll get over it.
Snicker.
Maybe, snicker. Steve, we love you, Steve, but come on, find some. I need some tea, man.
We need some discomfort. We need something.
I know, Steve.
Yeah, he didn't lose his because last time we had that big snowstorm, he lost his cell phone in the snow.
Oh yeah, that whole saga.
Yeah, he has because he has his tractor, right, and it fell out of his pocket.
Yep.
And I think they found it when the snow melted. I don't.
He did get it. He got it back.
Find it. He eventually found it after he got a new phone. I guess my gripe though is it's 2026, and I just don't understand why people have to go absolutely nuts at the grocery store before a snowstorm. Still, like buying all the bread and milk. It's been.
No, what are you
going
to do with bread and milk? Like, you could do so many things. What, make toast? Like
French toast.
I mean, like
it was gonna snow Sunday.
Like, we gotta have like 10 loaves of bread and 20 gallons of milk. I'm like, you gonna die? Like, come on.
But it was gonna snow like Sunday, or it snowed Sunday into Monday, and like I swear Sunday everyone was driving around like a chicken with their head cut off, just like trying to get everything.
If you've lived in this region for less than a couple years, and maybe this is your first real snowstorm, okay, I'll give you a pass. If you're from Florida, I'll give you a pass. If you were born on New England soil, and you're a full-grown adult who's been paying taxes for more than 10 years, and you're having a breakdown because there's a snowstorm coming and you don't know what to do, you failed as a New Englander. I mean, you should know, like, oh, here it comes, let's batten down the hatches, and, let's not panic,
Let's drive normal.
The elders
Sure.
will come out of the woodwork with their canes. I was around for the blizzard of 78. I remember. Right. It's like...
This supposedly was worse. The blizzard that we just had over the weekend was worse than the blizzard of 78.
No.
Yes, they did.
The blizzard of 78, I mean, that crippled.
The reason they say that, though, is because they didn't have enough, like nowadays we have more plows and this and that, and there's just a lot more resources. So it was
the highways were lined with cars for days.
I know, because
weeks.
they didn't have as many resources for plows, but in terms of actual snow totals and like wind and that's now.
Well, that happens with Florida with the same kind of psychology behind a hurricane. You get the people that have never been through a rain event before, and the people that have lived here and grown up here. If it's not a category 2 or 3, 4, people tend to just say, "I'm just going to ride this one out." And they go to the grocery store, they buy all the toilet paper, they buy all the milk, they buy all the bread, everything. Everybody's buying canned goods like they got to batten down the hatches for 6 weeks. It's not that big a deal, but you know what? You got to be mindful of the fact that if it's something you can avoid and get out of the way of something like that, I respect that. Some people choose to stay, and they end up getting their ticket punched as a result of it. But we tend to not over dramatize the storms and stay back as well. But people do freak out about it. It's a way for grocery stores to make their monthly plan in a couple of days.
Yeah, I see that. It just nuts. Like you'll see people just all like hoarding and.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
We saw it in COVID.
Just tired.
Yeah. We saw it in COVID. It's crazy.
I don't know. I acted like it was a normal day. I actually enjoyed it. I enjoyed going out in public. I was like, you know what? If it's going to take me out, it's going to take me out. I'm going to go live my life.
Well, I got to respect the people who are the linemen and, the men and women who work out there to restore power afterwards. When in 1985, we had a storm called Hurricane Kate that went through here, and we were without power for, it was almost 3 or 4 weeks. And so we had Thanksgiving dinner over a Coleman stove. I remember as a kid going through that, and nowadays it's like 2 or 3 days at most, and then they usually have the power restored. But they turn out, they go back out there in the worst conditions to make sure everybody has electricity. So more power to them.
Yeah, being a lineman, that's a dangerous job.
Oh,
That's why I chose to be an inside wireman. I didn't want to do that.
There you go.
Regular electrician, not a lineman.
Okay. Yeah, no, well, I respect there too. I turn the whole house off if I got to change a light bulb. I mean, I'm not good when it comes to that.
Really? If it's 120, I'll do it live. I'm not afraid.
Oh yeah, I let you. No way. Oh,
I've done 277 live. I'm not proud of it, but I've done it. I've also ridden the Lightning too. So
yeah, no thanks. Yeah.
It's so funny when you hear people talk about that too. Like, oh, we're gonna be safe. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, and God forbid people from my employment watch. Yeah, I mean we are safe most of the time, but in everyone's illustrious career, every once in a while that time comes along, and it's time to ride the lightning, and it's much different than listening to the Metallica album. I'll tell you that much.
I bet. Yeah,
Woo!
much more shake.
It wakes you up.
Yeah, exactly.
A regular wall outlet shock for most people is scary. For me, it's like, it's annoying. But higher voltage is that's where we separate the men from the boys.
No thanks. Yeah, no thank you.
Oh man, it's only happened to me a few times, but and I take no blame. It was not my fault. It's a case of miscommunication.
That's
I'm
all
gonna
right.
write it off. I'm gonna blame the other guy. I always do.
Sure.
But anyway, that's my soliloquy with that. But also, let's get into a more fun segment. That's our trivia segment, brought to you by Perdomo Cigars, featuring our 2025 cigar of the year, the Perdomo Legacy, Nicaraguan shade-grown epicure. Which, fun fact for you, I haven't written about it yet because it literally just broke like an hour before the show.
Wow.
But the Perdomos have publicly acknowledged, although they haven't said much, of a new Perdomo Legacy that will be coming out soon. That'll be a collaboration between Nicholas and Nick Perdomo.
Wow.
A new size, new blend in the Legacy collection that they're working on here. So this is fun stuff. This is going to be new. Man, those damn Perdomos, they've been pumping out some new stuff. They normally don't come out with something new every year, but they're on a roll right now.
Babies and cigars lately.
They're talking about, they're growing the Perdomo army is taking on a new meaning the last couple of years. I mean, they are just on a roll. I mean, on a roll. I can't give it to them enough. They are on fire. But it is time for our trivia segment, and Nicole, I'm going to pass the torch over to you.
Okay, so we're gonna do trivia, and it will vary in how difficult it is. But I think you should answer first, Matthew, on these questions because I know you don't have a lot of fishing knowledge.
Yeah, and he does. This is like when I did golf with Les Mann. I remember I asked him I'm like, this is definitely gonna be a hard one, and I asked him the question, and he just went. Before I answer that question, I'm like, oh, here we go. He already knows. He was just like, this is too easy. I struggled finding hard ones, but all right, go ahead.
Okay, this one's an easy one. What is the main purpose of a fishing bobber? A, to scare fish. B, to keep bait at a set depth and signal bites. C, to make the line heavier. And D, decoration.
B.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
I would
B
agree.
too? All right, that
Absolutely.
is correct. Okay, you got it. I'll give you that one.
Don't underestimate me.
All right.
I've been out there on the water.
When's the last time you've gone fishing?
It's been a while, but I've done plenty of fishing in my day. I mean, probably not nearly as much as Lou. Let's not get carried away. But I've done some fishing. I know about going out there, spinning the yarn, telling the tale.
Okay. All right.
As what someone once said to me, no, it's not about fishing. It's about spinning the yarn, tell the tale.
That's right. That's right.
Fishing's not about fishing.
Fishing's about throwing line and telling tall tales. That's for sure.
All right, what's the next one?
Which fish is known for its flat body and both eyes on one side? A, mackerel, B, flounder, C, pike, and D, carp.
Oh, it's flounder.
Wow. You like
Flounder, absolutely.
Flounder.
Yeah, but also the halibut.
Was that on there?
Coaster.
Halibut was not on there.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah,
But
that's true. The halibut, yeah.
Flounder. Yep.
all right.
I've
maybe
never
I need
had
harder
flounder, but I heard
questions.
flounder's good.
It's good. It's good.
Is it an oily fish?
Not so much. It's more white and flaky. But it's good. It's not my favorite ocean fish, but I will say halibut. If I have a chance to eat halibut somewhere, whether it be a restaurant or somebody has got it, that is really special. But flounder is very similar to like a grouper in terms of it's not as thick. It's very thin, but it's good. It's good. It's good eating fish.
Interesting.
Not as oily. Not like a mackerel.
Yeah. I don't know what I was thinking of. I was thinking of something.
Okay, which fish is often called the king of the freshwater game fish? A, catfish, B, bluegill, C, muskie, or D, perch?
My instinct there wants to read the question again.
Which fish is often called the king of freshwater game fish?
Can you read the selections again?
Yes. A, catfish, B, bluegill, C, muskie, D, perch.
So my gut wants to tell me the catfish for, I think, a lot of obvious reasons. I mean, catfish is, but at the same time, I feel like that's not the answer they're looking for. Lou, do you know the answer to this one?
I'm going to guess, and I'll give you my reasoning. I don't think you're wrong that catfish, could easily be seen as far as freshwater fishing, but the scale and the size of the fish. But I don't think that's the right answer either.
Yeah. What was the second one?
Bluegill.
My gut's telling me don't say catfish. Maybe say B.
Okay, what about you, Lou?
I'm going to say the muskie.
You are right.
Yeah, that was a total stab in the dark there.
So a bluegill is a small fish, panfish, sunfish, and we caught a lot of bluegill. If you want to go out, bluegill will bite on bread dough, hot dogs, jigs, anything else. You can
I think
catch
I've
a bluegill
only
on pretty much
ever
anything.
caught bluegill. I've only ever caught sunfish, but that's okay.
Sure. And so it's a great fish to catch, especially if you're going fishing with kids. You can go out there and you catch a whole mess of them, and they fight little fun. They wiggle, and they're not too heavy to bring out of the water. And then, of course, the catfish, you get some river cats that are just massive, massive fish, 30, 40, 50 pounds and up. So I didn't know if that was the one in terms of the king of the water. But the last one was the perch. And, perch tends to be a fish that you get in quantity and not necessarily quality. So the muskie, which I've never caught a muskie, but muskie and pike fish are these very large freshwater fish that have the kind of the long snouts to them and a lot of teeth, and they fight like mad. Those are the type of fish that you catch when you fly into Canada and you go to these fishing encampments, or you up in the Midwest and you catch these really, really big, deep lakes, and that's a prize fish. Walleye, pike, northern pike, muskie pike. That you have the muskies, and so muskie. That's why I would say that would be the king of the ones to catch, and they fight like mad. So.
Interesting. Yeah, that one was a total just stab for me, but that's okay. It's okay.
That's okay.
Do you have another one?
I mean, I can.
Yeah, do
Usually
one
we
more.
Three.
Yeah,
Okay.
do one more.
We'll do one more. Let's see. I feel like some of the ones that they labeled hard are not that hard.
How would you know?
Huh?
How would you know?
Because I just feel like they're not. Because I can see the answers, and I'm like, oh, that makes sense.
What fish is usually peach colored? Oh, gee, let me take a
Okay,
guess.
they put under hard. Okay, let me give you an example of why I know this one's not very hard. Hold on.
No one struggled more than me trying to find a hard golf question for Les. I was sweating during that one. I'm like, he's gonna know that one. Then there was one about like an old women's one, like from women from like back in the day, and he knew everybody on the list. And I was like, fuck.
Okay, so like this question, what is
I
the
was
primary?
like, I thought this was gonna be hard.
What is the primary function of a tackle box? A, holding snacks.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a no-brainer right there.
B,
Yeah.
storing fishing gear. C, emergency flotation device. D, portable chair.
Where did you get these from? This is
AI is not the smartest thing.
Jesus. ChatGPT.
It's fine. It's okay.
If you don't have another hard one, then it's all right. But
I just don't want to butcher the pronunciation on this, but it says which knot is famously strong and popular amongst fishers? A, granny knot. B, square knot. C, palomar knot. Knot. Maybe I'm saying that one wrong. D, shoelace knot. Did I say that right?
I don't know what that word is, so to be
Okay.
honest with you, but I'm going to say that's probably the answer, only because the other ones are not strong knots to begin with.
Okay. Which you're
it's-
correct.
Yes, sure. So I
Yeah.
don't know that
Yeah.
word. In all my years, that's the one thing that, my dad, he'll sit there, and he would, as a kid, a dad tied the hooks onto the line. And then you get to the point where you have a rite of passage where you're now responsible for tying your own hooks on the line. And if you don't do it right, you tug on it and you're going to lose the hook and you're going to lose the fish. So it's a life lesson that you need to learn how to tie good knots. And I had the benefit of being a Boy Scout and a Cub Scout, and having that life experience and going out in the outdoors and things. And my dad was a big outdoorsman. So learning your knots is very, very important, because, it can make or break whether or not you land the fish or you don't. And, it's just one of those things to double check. And, as my eyes have gotten worse over time as I've gotten older, and I wear glasses, to be able to do things, now I have trifocals. And so I've got these, and it's still not enough magnification. So I end up having to wear either another pair of like magnifying readers, or I've got a little magnifying glass when I'm working on small tackle to be able to do those kinds of things. So yeah, got to know your knots. I don't know that polymer knot or polymer, whatever you called it. I have no idea what that is. It sounded official, and the other ones I would not trust to keep. I recognize the other ones, and those aren't strong enough knots to hold a hook on there to begin with.
Especially a granny knot. I mean, I think we all know that one. I mean, that one's. They teach you that in preschool.
See, I don't think I know that one.
Anastasia knows how to do a granny knot.
I feel like I need to know more about knots now that I'm reading this. I think that's a useful skill to have.
Sure, it is. And I'll sit there and watch, YouTube videos or whatever, the Facebook reels that come out, and they're showing different ways to tie hooks onto the line. And it's so funny how the algorithms will pick up on what we're talking about. So for the next 2 days, you're going to see nothing but knot tying shorts in all of your social media posts.
I know. I'll hey, teach me knots.
Yeah, exactly.
It's polymer.
Polymer. Got it.
Okay.
Very good. So Laura has said it's and clarified. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate the heads up on that.
Yeah, no, I think I know a couple like docking knots from when I got my boat license, and I had to help my dad like dock the boat.
There you go.
But
I got the boat license too, but that was only so I could ride a jet ski in the Charles River.
Hey,
it's a long story.
absolutely.
It's a long story. And her brother's fault. That's what that was.
Outstanding.
But yeah, that's our trivia segment for the week. So, which brings us close towards the end of the show. Lou, really
Yes.
appreciate you coming on the show and talking to us about the brand. Obviously, a lot about your family and kind of what the brand means to you, and what you've done with it, and kind of where you're going with it. And I wish you nothing but the best. The cigars are great so far that I've smoked, and I appreciate you sending those up. And it's just great to meet you and to get to know you a little bit better. There was a question earlier in the show, and I didn't forget about it, but I wanted to save it for the right time. But Sean had asked, where can I find Lure Cigars?
So we are in a variety of retail establishments. Some of them have brick and mortar stores, of course, as well as online presence. If you go to our website, lurecigars.com, and you go to our Contact Us page, there's a list of our retail partners that have taken a chance and put lure in their humidors. We really appreciate it. Our cigars are in the vintage tackle box on the shelf. So look for Lure Cigars. If you are a retailer and you are looking to carry a great brand and have some fun talking tackle and tobacco, please look out and reach out to us. We'd love to have more retail partners. You can follow us on Instagram at Lure Cigars. You can see how many other Lure fans are out there that are smoking on a near daily basis. I've got some great people out there that are friends that have made Lure their regular rotation. And you can see some stuff we post from time to time. And go out there and smoke great cigars and tell tall tales.
Absolutely. That sounds awesome. I love that slogan too. That's great. But Lou, thank you for coming on the show with us. I really appreciate it. Guys, thank you for being here and listening and being with us here tonight. And as always, you can listen to us later wherever you get your podcasts from, and head over to smokintabacco.com for more news, reviews, and updates from the cigar industry with our 2026. I know it's a little early, but I'm gonna start plugging it now because it's almost March. Our 2026 PCA trade show coverage, brought to you by Drew Estate, coming up in the next, 7 weeks. We'll be there.
Yeah.
Something like that.
We're going to be there too. Hey, make sure you stop by the booth, come over and see us and smoke some of the new stuff we've got coming out, and be able to stop by and say hello. It'd be great to meet you in person. But we'll be at PCA. Valakari and Lure will be together in the booth. I don't know the booth number. I should have that information, but we're in the constant preparation in preparation for the show. So come by and see us.
Absolutely, we will. Well, Lou, hang back with us for a second. Guys, that's going to do it for our show this week, and we should be back on with Spare Notes this weekend. We were unfortunately not able to run it last week with Coop still,
Living it up in the DR.
living it up,
Pro cigar.
meeting the president of the Dominican Republic again. Just
That's
living his
great.
best life, But he'll be back with us Saturday night for Spare Notes. I know he's got a lot of stuff he wants to talk about, so it should be an interesting show. We'll see you there at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll see you back on the Smokin Tabacco Show next week. Same time, same place.